I don't even want to answer this question. I'll
goes.
be honest. Because I don't care about this question. All I care about is the aftermath of Mike White doing this and how much it pissed me off. And in the moment, I was irate. On Twitter, people adding me saying, oh, look at this guy, Mike White. He's better than Zach Wilson. Well, he's better than Zach Wilson. He's better than every rookie quarterback as well because statistically, he had a better game than any of the rookie quarterbacks have had so far. See, Mike White completed 82% of his passes, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. 4.2 average depth of target. The 4th lowest this season, only behind Geno, Jimmy G, and Jalen Hurts. 300 of his yards were on throws 10 yards or less. The best offensive player on the Jets was Mike Carter. It wasn't Mike White. Now, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because his first game was this great. See, this is what pisses me off about the Jets. They made the game plan so simplistic for Mike White, yet they asked Zach Wilson to throw 20-yard outs. They asked him to take shots every game. They don't make the game plan this simplistic, even though he's a rookie. They just put everything on his plate. But for Mike White, here you go. We'll just give you some mashed potatoes on the side. You don't got to do too much. Just worry about eating that. But Zach Wilson gets a whole plate. It's ridiculous to me. And the fact that these Jets beat reporters are trying to make this out to be a quarterback controversy is annoying. I'm calling out Connor Hughes, talking about let Mike cook, hashtag. He tweeted, this is the best Jets performance I've ever seen. I unfollowed him on Twitter after that because I couldn't take it. Like, why are you guys doing this? We just saw Zach throw 2 50-yard bombs against Tennessee, and you're saying you were more impressed by Mike White throwing 5-yard passes, 4 yards average depth of target, 4 yards. And then DJ was so high on Mike White. Oh my gosh, great performance. Dude, I follow him on Twitter. He bashes Mac Jones for dinking and dunking all the time. Yet when Mike White does it, oh, there's a quarterback controversy brewing now. Get out of here. Mike White, it's good. He's a backup. I like that because all offseason, all people said was that, why don't the Jets have a veteran backup quarterback? Look at their quarterback room. It sucks. Well, now we know Mike White can play. So that's why they didn't get another quarterback because Mike White, now we know he can play. He can get us a win. But what the hell were the Bengals doing? They were dropping back 6. They were in dime for most of the game. Who are you trying to stop? Elijah Moore? Denzel Mims? Like, who are you trying to stop from over the top that Mike Carter's open every single time? Like, who are you trying to stop? This wasn't an impressive game. I saw this game. I saw Mike White, and I said, okay, it was good. But I didn't walk away from that game like, wow, Mike White, there's a quarterback controversy here. No, there's not. Stop it. It's enough. I'm tired of it. And the fact that this narrative is going to keep on going until Mike White throws a stinker is annoying. And prediction time. Mike White is going to be awful against the Colts. Awful. He's going to be awful. The Jets' offense is going to be awful against the Colts. And then the narrative is going to die down, finally. And if he starts against the Bills, my oh my, we're going to forget that we even talked about Mike White. Because, see, this is what Jets fans do. Jets fans hype every single thing that happens. I remember when Greg McElroy came in and beat the Cardinals, we thought he was the next franchise quarterback. This is a Greg McElroy situation. Mike White is not the answer. Zach Wilson is. We got to stop this. This is ridiculous. I'm tired of it.
I remember the first game Geno played, and he had that comeback win.
Was it Tampa?
It was Tampa. I changed my name on Twitter to Broadway Geno. I thought he was going to be the future and it was over. But nah, I agree with you. Mike White didn't do anything special. I think it's still Zach Wilson's team, right? So they have a quick turnaround against Thursday, coming against a huge win. You know, one of the biggest wins the Jets have had in the last 2 years, especially with the backup quarterback. But they're going to have to go into Indy on a short week. He's going to play bad. It's only a matter of time. And to go based on what you were saying about Zach Wilson and not checking down, I think the checkdowns are there. The best case scenario here is Zach sits on the sideline for another week or two, and he could see what Mike White does, right?
Like
he could
that.
see taking the checkdowns, taking the easy reads, because we saw this all the time with Brady. We played, obviously, being a Jets fan, I've watched too much Tom Brady that I could handle. On New England, so much of the time was checkdowns, 8 yards, 12 yards, tight end. Simple plays, just moves the chains and keeps the play going. And then obviously Brady has the ability to, throw it down the field. But we know Zach Wilson can throw it down the field. We know he's going to have one of the best arms in the league, but arm talent isn't everything. If arm talent was everything, Aaron Rodgers would have 8 rings right now, right? But if Zach Wilson can simply learn to take the check down, we have Michael Carter's turned into one of the best running backs in this rookie class, right? He was a 4th round pick, but he's looked phenomenal, incredibly elusive.
Better than Javonte Williams for sure. His teammate at NC.
Capaholic.
Javante's a dog in his own right.
Mike Carter's better.
They're both really
wrong.
good. They're both really good.
I respect that.
Because I was definitely higher on Javonte coming out than Michael Carter was, and how could you not? But Michael Carter's blowing me away. He's been looking really good. But we have pieces, especially we had a couple manufactured touches for Elijah Moore as well. LaFleur really got into his bag. This was Matt LaFleur's best game by far, and part of that was because Mike White was simply just taking easy reads and moving the chains. They're asking Zach Wilson. I don't know if this is the coaching staff. This is probably some on the coaching staff, but a lot on Zach Wilson too, where he either moves out of the pocket too early or just takes shots that aren't there or don't need to be made. When you have an open check down, it's hard in the NFL alone to move the ball. So when someone's open, I don't care if it's 1 yard. We see this a lot with Mahomes right now.
Facts.
We saw it a ton against the Giants. He was taking check down after check down. Tyreek Hill manufactured touches, right? That's what you have to do, especially when they're playing a bunch of just, cover 2 and they're taking away the deep pass. It's a little bit different with Zach Wilson because they're not as afraid. We don't have a Tyreek Hill on the team. But if he just simply learns from what Mike White is doing, and LaFleur, who was up in the press box this time, hopefully he stays there. Hopefully he can learn from this and just do what's easy, because then the Jets offense can really take off.
I'll say this. I took 2 things away, good and bad, from this Mike White ridiculousness. The good thing, I know that Mike LaFleur is capable of calling a good game now. I now know, okay, he can be an okay play caller now. I'm not as down on him as I was before. The bad, I just have to hear this annoying ass shit for the week. Like, this is the most annoying thing that I've listened to in a while. I unfollowed every single Jets beat reporter I had follow. DJ, Connor Hughes, Rich, everybody. I don't even follow the Jets social media right now. I don't follow nothing until Zach comes back, because I'm tired of this. Because when Zach comes back, he's going to be great. And actually, it wasn't 300. It was 332 of Mike White's yards that were on 10 yard, that were on throws 10 yards or less. At a 405, that's 80% of his passes.
But this is what the Jets should have been doing. We have weapons like Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Denzel Mims, Corey Davis. These are guys, when you get the ball in their hands, they can make things happen. Corey Davis ran, a 4.4? He's 6'4". Like, he can make plays down the field. Keelan Cole, Crowder.
We saw in that game.
Keelan Cole made a dumb catch.
Yeah, insane.
That was overturned. That should not have been.
We saw in that game a lot of screens. A lot of wide receiver screens, but a lot of screens from Mike Carter. I have not yet seen those plays called when Zach Wilson's in the game. I don't see screens called when Zach Wilson's in the game.
Because he can do more with his arms. So automatically they're thinking, all right, we can, spice up the play calling a little bit because he's a little bit more advanced than what we have, or what we think we have in Mike White.
But that's what I think is ridiculous. Because,
I'm with you.
Like, for example, Cooper Rush goes and fills in Dak's spot. Dallas didn't change the way they call the game.
True.
They played the same way they play with Dak. Dak can do more, we know that. But it wasn't like they said, okay, Cooper Rush, now we're just going to give you a bunch of screens, and that's it. That's why Sean Payne has success with Drew Brees, Jameis, Teddy, Taysom, Trevor Siemian. He calls the same thing. He's consistent. But with LaFleur, oh my gosh, you give Zach, everybody go 4 verticals. Now, when it's Mike White, okay, we're going to do screens now. All short passes. We're going to make it easy. But for Zach, everybody just go 4 verticals, just go do posts, and Zach will find you 40 yards down the field. It's just ridiculous, and I'm tired of that.
I'm not going to let you guys off the hook. To say he wasn't impressive.
I didn't think he was impressive.
It's a little bit rude.
No, I didn't think it was
Making his debut start to throw for 405, I get it. It was a bunch of checkdowns. Nevertheless, against one of the best teams in the AFC.
and they had a bad defensive game plan.
This was such a trap game. Should have saw it coming.
You think so?
We were coming off the worst loss we've had in years, 51-13 against New England. Bengals coming off their best win in 3 years, blowing out Baltimore. We should have saw this coming.
He also did make some very impressive throws.
He made some.
That throw to Berrios was insane.
Which was like 8 yards.
It was more than 8 yards.
It was like 15 to 20 probably.
It was
definitely not 20 because he didn't throw any yard. He didn't throw any pass.
What's his longest reception? Do you know?
26.
26. Okay,
But that's Yak. Yeah,
it could have been.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Okay, fair enough.
That was the longest completion was 26. I don't know how like air yards.
I think his longest air yards completion, just from my eye test, was the game-winning touchdown. From my eyes.
See, but that's
like 12
and the Keelan Cole one too.
Another thing we need to give him credit for was being able to read the defense. Of course, it was easy to read because they're playing so far back. But regardless of that, you're making your first debut. He didn't allow the moment to be too big for him. He stood in that pocket. He still made the throws. And to make that have that game-winning drive, to score the touchdown, to catch the 2-point conversion, to say it wasn't impressive is borderline disrespect.
I will say this. I'm more impressed with Zach Wilson being the first one to congratulate him on his big game than his big game.
He's real. That's rude, but he's real.
Listen, man.
As a Jets fan, that's how I feel.
I just can't support it.
Nah, saying his win was unimpressive is false. But the overreaction from Jets fans in the media is out of pocket.
I'm with you. Listen, the quarterback controversy, if you're a Jets fan and you just drafted Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick overall and you are contemplating a quarterback that, wasn't he cut? I believe he was
Mike White? Oh,
yeah.
Dallas.
He was on Dallas, and he got cut, and now he's the backup quarterback for the Jets.
He's been on a couple teams, I think.
And so he has an amazing game against the Bengals, and you're already ready to give up on your number 2 pick overall.
That's why they're Jets fans, because they see one good game from one player, and, like, he's the answer.
It just makes no sense.
I mean, he's Brandon Whedon at best.
Real quick, though, what do you guys make of Salah's comments saying, the reporter said, will Mike White start if he plays well going forward? And Salah basically said anything's possible.
I'll be honest, that was terrible word choice by Salah. I mean, you can't just say things like that and not expect your quarterback.
It's because Salah's gassed. That's why he's gassed that he just won a game.
Which
second game.
I'm fine with.
He should have said, "We're just focused on Indy."
That's
it.
That's what Joe Douglas said.
Was poor.
He should have just said, but Robert Saleh happy as hell over anything.
The game just ended.
I mean, whatever.
It's gonna be lit.
Exactly. I mean,
poor word choice because he's the one that actually started that controversy. The fact that he put that comment out there.